In Part 8 of Module 12 on Traditional and Visible Services, we'll discuss higher education and higher education access. In most states, there have been three major issues facing public higher education in recent years: access, affordability, and accountability. With more than 80% of all undergraduates in the United States attending public colleges and universities, very few discussions on higher education take place without one or more of these issues being central to the debate. There are grave concerns in most states concerning who has access to public higher education. The more highly educated are less likely to be in poverty, make higher incomes, are more likely to participate in their communities, are more likely to vote in elections, are likely to have higher levels of policy relevant and civic knowledge, are less likely to be in poverty or unemployed, and have higher levels of life satisfaction. See tables 12.6 and 12.7 in the text. No state can prosper with a poorly educated workforce, nor can it continue to prosper if its workforce fails to learn continuously. Most of the workers of the next 2 decades are already over 25 years old. These simple truths require states to assess the knowledge and skills of their adult population and to develop and implement policies that enable current workers, as well as the next generation, to compete more effectively in the global economy. A comprehensive study conducted by the College Board concerning access to and participation in higher education found the following. Among students with the top 10% SAT scores, virtually all in the top half of household income level enroll in some form of higher education, yet only 80% of those in the lowest fifth of household income continue to pursue higher education. Participation rates in higher education vary by race and ethnicity, with whites and Asians more likely than African Americans and Hispanics to enroll in higher education institutions. After high school graduation, students of parents who attended college are significantly more likely to attend college when compared to those with similar incomes whose parents do not have a college education. One approach that many states have pursued to increase diversity and enhance the number of underrepresented racial and ethnic minorities in public higher education has been using affirmative action, specifically with respect to admissions policies. Affirmative action policies have typically required active measures to ensure that African Americans, Hispanics, and other racial and ethnic minorities receive the same educational opportunities as whites for admissions, scholarships, and financial aid. While affirmative action was originally justified as a temporary remedy until equal opportunities for minorities and non-minorities could be secured, it has been a highly controversial policy from the outset and continues to be controversial, leading to ongoing complaints of reverse discrimination among disadvantaged whites and conservatives in general. In 1978, Alan Bakey, a white male, had been rejected 2 years in a row by the University of California Davis Medical School. The medical school in both years had admitted less qualified minority applicants through its affirmative action program. 16 out of 100 places were reserved for minority applicants. Bakey sued the medical school on the grounds of reverse discrimination. Regents of California versus Bakey. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled in a 5-4 vote that inflexible quota systems in affirmative action were not permissible under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. However, in the same decision, the court also upheld the legality of affirmative action in general, so long as the remedies applied were carefully tailored to the situation at hand, contributed to the quality of education for all students, and were temporary in nature. Eventually, a citizens' initiative, Proposition 209, passed in 1996, banned all forms of affirmative action in California. Another important case following the Bakey decision was that of Grutter versus Bollinger, heard in 2003. In this case, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the University of Michigan Law School's affirmative action policy, deciding as it did in the Bakey case that race can be one of several factors considered when making admission decisions because it furthers the educational benefits that flow from a diverse student body. However, the court also ruled that the university's undergraduate admission program, which used a formula that awarded extra points to minority students, was not constitutional, and ordered the original trial court to work on appropriate modifications to pass muster on equal treatment. Because of this decision, state public colleges and universities that wish to enhance diversity can consider race and ethnicity in their admissions, but they cannot use strict formulas or quotas to make such decisions on who is admitted to study. In Part 9 of Module 12 on Traditional and Visible Services, we'll discuss higher education affordability.